Jai Shriman Narayana. Welcome to part 3 of Narasimha Avatara series. Previously, we had spoken about the departure of Hiranyakashipu to the forest, the kidnapping of Kayatu by Indra, and the birth of Prahalada. In today's video, we find out the results of Hiranyakashipu's penance and get an insight into the childhood of Prahalada. Earlier, we had got to know that Hiranyakashipu left for the forest to ask for a boon from Brahma. For many, many days, Hiranyakashipu undertook severe penance in the hopes of catching Brahma's attention. One day, finally, Brahma appeared before him and asked what he wanted. Going completely against what he had earlier told Rishabhanu, Hiranyakashipu demanded that he be made immortal. To this, Brahma explained that he had no power to grant this boon, as he himself was not blessed with immortality and would eventually meet his death. So he asked Hiranyakashipu to ask for another boon. Hiranyakashipu, still extremely intent on being immortal, thought that if he simply changed the way he asked for the same boon, he would be able to receive the boon of immortality from Brahma. So he spoke, I should neither die during the day or in the night. I should neither die inside a house or outside of it. I should neither die in space or on the ground. I should neither be killed by a human or an animal. I should neither die by an animate object nor by an inanimate object. Brahma, shocked by the number of conditions put forth by Hiranyakashipu, asked if there was any final condition before he was to grant the boon. To this, Hiranyakashipu lays down his final condition. Yadi dasasya dhimatan varan me varadottama bhutebhyas tad visrishtebhyah mrityur ma bhu mama prabho. That he shouldn't be killed by anything or anyone that fell within the creation of Brahma. Hiranyakashipu assumed that by asking for these boons and this final condition, it would lead him to becoming immortal. However, unknown to him, this last condition had made Brahma very, very happy, because Brahma knew that he himself had been created by Bhagavan Narayana, and that in the worst case scenario, if Hiranyakashipu created more havoc and needed to be killed, the Lord would deal with him. Therefore, he granted Hiranyakashipu this boon. Feeling very happy with himself, Hiranyakashipu then went back to his kingdom, where Kayatu and Narada presented him with a son Prahlada. Narada, recognizing that the boy was special, congratulated Hiranyakashipu, asked him to take care of his son, and then left. Some time went by, and when Prahlada turned 2, Hiranyakashipu summoned him. He told the boy that because he had been so busy ruling his kingdom, that he had not spent enough time with him, and that going forward he wanted to build a bond with him. So he asked Prahlada to share with him whatever knowledge he had, and asked him where he learnt the various things. Prahlada responded, Shasta Vishnu Rasheshasya Jagato yo Hrudisthitaha Tamrute Paramatmanam Tatakah Kena Shasyate. The one thing that I know, Father, is that Paramatma within us, within our Atma, is the teacher of this entire universe. Who else can teach me? There is nothing and nobody in this creation that is bereft of Sriman Narayana or is not under his command and direct control. An interesting anecdote from a great Acharya's lecture comes to mind to support this very fact. Krishna, acting as a messenger of Pandavas, is expected to visit Duryodhana's court to seek the return of the rightful property of the Pandavas. But this Duryodhana did not want to give. So he approached his father, Dhritarashtra, and told him what he was planning to do. He concluded that he would call a meeting with all the important Kauravas to discuss what must be done when Krishna arrived. At the meeting, Duryodhana ordered that when Krishna entered the court, all the Kauravas must follow his actions, and this action was not to stand up when Krishna came up. Upon hearing this, Bhishma turned to Vidura and said, 3 in 1,000, 3 in 1,000. The next day, when Krishna arrived, instead of obeying his orders, everybody stood up. Once Krishna left, a furious Duryodhana called all the Kauravas and asked why they had stood up. Bhishma, in reply, told Duryodhana that he himself stood up, and so everybody followed him like he himself had asked. The explanation for why Duryodhana had stood up involuntarily was because a one who stood before him, who was Krishna, was himself controlling Duryodhana's action from within. The name given to one who controls everybody else from within is called Vashatkaraha, which is the third name of the Vishnu Sahasranamam. So the code 3,000 that Bhishma spoke was referring to this quality of Bhagavan Shrivan Narayana. Now going back to our story, Prahlada tells Hiranyakashipu that one thing he knows is that Vishnu is the controller of both him and his father. Hearing this, Hiranyakashipu became furious. There was smoke coming out of his nose. And he was convinced that Prahlada had been brainwashed by Narada. At once he summoned Shanda and Amarka, the sons of Shukracharya, and ordered them to take Prahlada with them and teach him who the real supreme power in this world was, which according to Hiranyakashipu was himself. Shanda and Amarka knew that this was not the truth, but they had no other choice. So taking Prahlada, they left for their ashrama. In the next video, we will find out what happens to Prahlada and the evil plans Hiranyakashipu comes up with to reform his son. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.